First and foremost, I want to say good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
You're looking very well today.
Thank you very
I
much.
hope you're staying nice and cool in the hot summer weather. As your teacher has just pointed out, my name is Spencer Diaz. That's my preferred name. My real name is Renee Spencer Diaz. I'm a graduate from the University of Texas at Austin, majoring in radio, television, and film. I graduated with honors as indicated by these cords and this medal right here. And I finished with a grade point average of 3.96 out of 4, which is really good. And I have pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, which is a form of autism. I have problem interacting with other people my age. I have trouble understanding social cues, and I have issues with controlling my boundless energy. So please don't mind if I pace around the room a bit. Anyways, part of my upbringing was spent in classes like these, in special needs classes. I'm here today to tell everyone my story. How I grew up with autism, how I survived school and college, how I found my passion, something that makes me happy, and how you can find yours, and how you guys can do amazing things in your future too. Because you know what? We may operate on a different wavelength. But how does that make us any less capable than the people outside that door? It doesn't. First, a little background on me. I was born in March 8th, 1999. But I wasn't diagnosed until 3 years later, when I was 3 years old. I was diagnosed with pervasive developmental disorder, which was indicated by many odd behaviors that I had when I was growing up. I faced many challenges myself when I was much younger. I was highly temperamental and emotional. I had very brash and aggressive mood swings. At one point, there was even this one time when I was, I think, 5 years old, where my father and my mother sent me to this special needs schools. They said they could take care of me. 15 minutes later, they called them right back saying I was too much to handle for them. I was that bad of a student. I was that emotional. I was also very disabled in some areas of study. There were many classes and subjects that I was really good at, but others that I was sadly struggling with. So it really was a problem for me. For example, I remember during elementary school, I was especially bad with science and history, and also math without a calculator. Lastly, and most of all, I was in my head so much that I didn't make any friends growing up. I didn't really like social interaction. I mostly stayed by myself. And I had struggled with interacting with others. And you know, even today, I struggle with those. It's hard for people who are wired different from others to shake the things that we were just naturally born with. It's gonna be trial and error even afterwards. We supposedly are supposed to make it. But you know what? I made it, and here's my story. After I was diagnosed with autism, my parents and my sister were very determined to help me develop socially. In fact, one thing I will tell you, I was once told, and my parents were once told, I was sent to this very special school that was supposed to help me. And as it turns out, you know what they told me? What they told my parents? They told them, in fact, I wouldn't make half the intelligence of a clerk at Walmart. Well, I don't know if any of you ever had, or any of your parents ever had to hear someone else that's supposed to know better say that about you. But I can imagine that it's not easy for anyone to hear. It was not, I know it tore my parents up inside to hear that, but God dang it, I mean, sorry. Slip of the tongue, but anyways, they wanted to prove that woman wrong, so they went all over the place. In Dallas, Texas, they sent me to a counseling group led by who I will refer to as Miss Amelia. She taught me in the ways of what's known as the Tomates method, which utilized music and sound transmitted through hearing through those headphones, like those that he has. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. That's another issue with me. And it helped me to develop a lot more. I was starting to talk more. I was developing more cognitive and social capabilities. For a while, I was completely silent, but after a while, I started communicating more verbally. However, we moved to Austin, Texas for better opportunities for social skills, and that's when I met, that's when I was sent to the Capital School of Austin. And that was a place that really helped me. I was able to learn about the school structure, about the basics of math, social studies, science. That's where I got my education, and that's where I started to learn about school before I was sent out. After second grade at the Capital School, I was finally allowed to be sent to public school. I was sent to Highland Park Elementary, which was a major experience for me because this was my first time I was in a much bigger. The Capital School of Austin was a small school, like maybe it used to be a church before it was converted into a elementary school. But after Capital School, I can guarantee that during my time there, I was not only able to experience something entirely new, but also entirely special for me. During my time there, I was pulled aside for private meetings with other students and other people to interact with and to learn more cues, to learn more social skills. Honestly, I used to hate these sessions because they pulled me out of class while we were doing something a little more fun, and I was forced to do something with one or two other students. But now I understand the capability of what it taught me. It taught me how to socialize with others, and it helped me to learn more behavioral skills. Following my time at elementary school, I moved to Round Rock, which was one of the biggest and most advanced school districts in Texas. I went to Canyon Vista for middle school, and then I went to Westwood High School for high school. Kind of redundant, forgive me for that. At my time there, not only was I once again pulled aside for the counseling time, which once again helped me to grow my social skills exponentially, but I also had meetings outside of class to help me with these people. My counselor was very helpful in helping me understand my social problems, what I needed to do, my social issues, as I should say, and how I can help better myself. On top of that, something that the school was very lenient on helping me with, especially with Westwood, were accommodations. I would receive special privileges, as I'll call them, because we're special kids. I would be given these special privileges that would allow me to do better at school, as I would say. For example, for a test, if it was a timed test, which they mostly were, I was allowed to be given extended time to work on it. So while others would have to finish in 50 minutes, I would be allowed to finish in an hour and a half, because they knew my thinking was a little more slower and sporadic, and I made it clear. My extending of the need for accommodations, they were especially useful for me when I entered college, especially UT. There was a social services department that was very helpful in helping me gain these accommodations that, looking back now, after just a week after graduating, I realize were very useful in me learning and succeeding. Not only was I allowed extended time, but I was allowed access to class notes so I can better follow along with notes, and I was allowed to follow, and I was allowed to take an audio recording device to follow along.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
However, I know it may sound like a lot for some people, but there was something that helped me through all of that. To me, what helped me the most when I was growing up, what helped me get through all of that despite the fact that it would be emotionally exhausting and physically exhausting for me, it was a passion. It was my passion.